Hello everyone, this is VGTI, and today we're going to be talking about an Undertale theory that I pieced together after I uploaded my last Undertale theory, which had to do with WD Gaster. And Gaster is a super popular topic as of late. A lot of people have been trying to figure him out. But today I'm going to be talking about a theory that I came up with myself thanks to a comment on my last video. Now, I don't know if anybody else has come up with this theory or not, so keep that in mind, but I looked and I couldn't find it anywhere else, so hope you guys enjoy this. This theory came about due to a specific comment that I read on my last video from a user named Bibmartinlo. Sorry if I said that wrong, but if you're watching this, thank you for saying what you said, because that got the gears turning in my head, and I started piecing some things together. What Bibmartinlo said was that when you reject the fallen human at the end of the Genocide route, when you reject his offer, his face starts melting. And when it starts melting, it looks really similar to WD Gaster's face. Now, that's not enough really to make any strong point of connection, but that's what got me thinking. Yeah, they are kind of similar, aren't they? So I started looking into the similarities between Chara and Gaster, which Chara, by the way, is the supposed true name of the first human, the fallen human that was friends with Azriel. Supposedly his name is Chara, which is short for character, but I digress. Chara makes his appearance in different amounts in the game. He barely appears in the pacifist route because you don't really bring him out. You know, you're being a good person, you're sparing every monster, and that's great. He only really appears in mentions of him. You find out more about him in the True Lab when you watch those videotapes with him and Azriel in them, and you also find out a little about him due to other characters mentioning him, but they don't really say much. It's pretty vague. So for the most part, Chara doesn't really appear in the pacifist route, and you don't really find out much about him. However, there is a sinister note that kind of goes down in the tapes, and it seems to imply that something's wrong with Chara. But you don't really learn anything until you play the Genocide route, and that's when it all starts to paint a more clear picture. In the Genocide route, you kill every single monster that you come across. And it's terrifying, it's horrible, and when you do it, Chara starts manifesting. And it's not quite clear in what ways. For example, there are certain differences between the pacifist and Genocide playthroughs, but some of the more alarming ones come from your character himself or herself. Sometimes when you examine certain things in the Genocide route, red letters will appear in the place of your normal text, and it's basically Chara narrating for you. This means that when you start a Genocide playthrough and you start killing everything that you encounter, Chara is starting to manifest within you. And you may be wondering how this is, but I will get to that in a second. Chara starts manifesting, and we don't really learn how or what the deal is with that until the very end of the game. You've killed everything, the world is ending, or pretty much has ended, and all that's left is you and Chara. And Chara gives you an offer. Chara explains that this is the point of no return. This is how the world is now, and there is nothing you can do to fix it. However, there is one thing you could do. Chara will allow you to completely reset the game if you allow Chara to possess your soul. And this doesn't have many big changes if you reset the game by accepting this offer. This doesn't have really any big changes until the very end of the game. You find out that doing this can corrupt your pacifist playthrough, and when Toriel brings you a slice of butterscotch pie at the end of the pacifist route in that room, Chara comes out. And I don't have any video footage of it, but it's pretty creepy to say the least. Now, we need to figure out what exactly Chara is. That's basically a summary of how Chara comes out, and I know some of you might not have seen the Genocide playthrough yet. Maybe you didn't want to. That's fine, but that's pretty much what happens, and that's how Chara comes out. But what exactly is Chara? We know that he was the first human to fall into the underground, and he befriended Azriel. And we know a little about him and how he died. He fell ill. But what exactly happened? Well, my entire theory here, and you can tell by the title, is that I think Chara is W.D. Gaster, but not in the way you think, and I'll explain that in a sec. First, let's quickly sum up what happened to Chara and Azriel. Chara fell ill, but this was on purpose. His intent was to cross the barrier by fusing souls with Azriel and going to his village in the human world and starting a war. The humans saw Azriel carrying Chara's dead body, and because of this, it brought out a whole lot of misunderstanding and only made things worse. However, this was Chara's intention, and Azriel reveals in one of the playthroughs that he wasn't in full control of himself when Chara had fused souls with him. He was actually going to murder all of those humans, but it was thanks to Azriel briefly gaining control that he was able to keep himself from slaughtering all of those humans. Now, soon after, Azriel passed away, and his ashes were scattered across the golden flowers in Asgore's garden. But the question is, what happened to Chara? We get a lot of backstory and lore about souls and determination and what exactly happens to monster souls and human souls, but we never find out the specifics behind what happens to a human soul when a monster and human fuse together, but the monster ends up dying. We never find out what happens. So all of this is speculation and stuff that has not been confirmed. But here's my theory on what exactly happened after Azriel died. I think that after Azriel died, Chara's soul split across time and space, very similar to what supposedly happened to W.D. Gaster after his experiment went wrong and he fell into the core. It's almost identical to what happened to him, actually. So let's assume for a moment that the same thing happened to Gaster that happened to Chara, except their demises were different. With Gaster, his experiment went wrong, and that's what caused him to spread across time and space by falling into his core after his experiment, whatever this experiment was, supposedly went wrong. Chara spread across time and space because of the fact that his soul was fused with Azriel's and Azriel died, making his soul live on through time and space. So here's what I think happened after that. I believe that W.D. Gaster, being in time and space and having the powers that he does, was able to find Chara, and to him, it just appeared like a normal human soul, you know? He was probably thinking, oh, a human died, here's its soul, maybe I can absorb it. Maybe with the amount of determination that a human has, absorbing its soul would bring him back to life, and that's probably what he was thinking. And it was also probably a combination of that and just scientific curiosity. So W.D. Gaster absorbed Chara's soul, floating in the void, and what happened was Chara took over. This is very similar to what happened when Azriel fused with Chara's soul, and Chara started taking over Azriel's personality, and it took everything that Azriel had to hold Chara back. Except with W.D. Gaster, Chara was able to take full control, and Gaster just wasn't strong enough to fight Chara off. After this, Chara became a sort of amalgamation. He became a fusion of himself and Gaster. He had Chara's murderous personality, but Gaster's powers over time and space. And this is what leads us to the ending of the Genocide route. The strangeness of Chara's appearance. He looks a lot like Frisk, but not quite. There's something off about him. But you may be thinking, if he fused together with Gaster, why does he look the way he does? Well, there's multiple reasons that this could be so. It's possible that Frisk led to his true form coming out due to all of the murdering that you were doing in the Genocide playthrough. It just brought Chara more and more back to life. That's one possibility. It's also possible that this is just what Chara looks like after taking over Gaster, and it's kind of his way of showing that he's maintaining control. And when his face starts melting, that's kind of Gaster showing through. The melting thing happens when there's a lot of determination going on inside of a monster, and that just shows that inside of Chara, there is a monster. In fact, Chara compares himself to a demon. He calls himself a demon. He says this really creepy thing when you summon him at the end of the Genocide playthrough. When he appears, he says that I am the demon that comes when they call its name. I am them. And he says that he appears whenever you get points, like whenever you level up, whenever you get more HP. That feeling is him. He's basically been living on through your fighting, through your heads-up display, through your combat. He is everywhere but nowhere at once, just like Gaster. And he calls himself a demon that comes when people call its name, which is eerily similar to some of the things that the gray NPCs say about Gaster, and how when they talk about him he could be listening. It almost implies that talking about Chara or Gaster summons them in some sort of way, or in Chara's case, murdering monsters. And we know that Chara certainly isn't a human, because Sans even calls you out on this when you first meet him at the beginning of a Genocide playthrough, saying that if you could at least act like a human around my brother, that would be great. We know for a fact that Chara, something's wrong with him, and he's definitely not quite human. And the reason that he started going after Frisk in the first place is because if you choose to kill monsters and be evil, this is what lures Chara in. If you do the pacifist playthrough, Chara's nowhere to be seen. There's no way for him to be summoned. And that's what I think is going on. He's there, but he can be summoned if you are a murderous, evil jerk, basically. So, what do you guys think of this theory? It's just something that I thought was not really touched upon. You never really hear much about Chara. You hear more about Gaster than Chara in any case. But Chara is a very mysterious person, and not a whole lot is said about him in the entirety of Undertale. You only learn stuff in the Genocide route, and even then, the stuff that you learn is very mysterious. So I thought that making a theory about Chara could lead to some more questions getting answered. So I hope this theory made sense to you guys. Basically, Gaster used to be himself, but because he absorbed Chara's soul in the void in time and space, Chara now lives on with Gaster's powers and uses it to try to kill everything. Anyways guys, that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the theory. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let's get the discussion rolling. If you have questions, leave them. If you have your own thoughts, your own theories, then please tell me them, and we'll see what we come up with. It's a lot of fun theorizing with you guys, and I really appreciate it. If you like the video, then please like the video. And if you like my channel, video game theories, Undertale, or creepy conspiracy theories, then this is the place for you. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and you will be greatly rewarded with theories that you hopefully enjoy. I'll see you guys in the next video.